me on ARSN Television, Abuja, Nigeria. I am Khadija Oluwatoyin. Last week I told you that yes, we couldn't finish up on our topic, taxation, where we had our guest, Mr. Gabriel Dakolo, spoke to us about taxation effects on price of agricultural produce in Nigeria. He mentioned different factors that has contributed to double taxation in Nigeria. He also identified some, ways in which governments can reduce or in totality, stop the issue of double taxation. That is the major issue now in Nigeria. He also mentioned about the Taxation Council, where the mandate giving them and what they need to do as regards ensuring that the issue of double taxation, especially on agrarian communities or agricultural produce, is being brought to the barest minimum. Yes, we continuing this week on same topic so that we can finish up on the topic. This week we'll start with the principles binding taxation. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you for having me.
You spoke extensively in our last episode as regards taxation, and there's been feedback as regards people wanting to know more. What to look out for, what should be avoided as regards this double taxation and the rest. Now, let's start from the principles. What's the principle of double taxation or taxation in its entirety, looking at what we're facing now in Nigeria?
Actually, multiple taxation is a burden to the people and corporate bodies. Why it's a burden is that in as much as it gives the government enough revenue to be able to run its business, it makes the organization or individuals less profitable or less capable or reduction in their earnings. So the principle of taxation is not to inflict injury, it's not to inflict pain on the people that are supposed to be taxed. And that is why multiple taxation is an anomaly that needs to be looked into to ensure that it's eradicated to the benefit of the people. Another aspect of taxation which the government is also looking at is under taxation, when there are some set of people that are not paying appropriate taxes, and those ones now enjoy the benefit of reducing government's revenue and causing those that are paying multiple taxation to pay to beef up their own shortfalls. And that is the area the government also need to look into, so that the major principle of taxation of not inflicting pain on taxpayers is looked critically into. And the second major principle of taxation is fairness. Fairness is very, very important, so that you pay. That's why you have a situation where they say pay as you earn. For somebody that is earning so much should not be taxed more than somebody that is earning lesser, or somebody that is earning more should be taxed according to his earnings. For companies that are making specific profits, there should be ways and means of taxing them to the benefit of the country. And also, if a company or an organization is eligible to be given waivers as regard taxes, it should be done in a fair manner. That is where equity comes into place, because you see a situation whereby companies that have equal footings, one gets a tax waiver on particular products while the other does not get, because of who he or she knows. So when we are talking of principles of taxation is being put in place not to inflict pain on the taxpayers, to bring about fairness and also justice. And if these are not in place, then we will have situations whereby people go away by having manipulating their tax payment to their benefit. And that is not what is intended when tax payments are being efficient. So when it now comes to the issue of taxation of agricultural produce, these major principles that we have discussed is also applicable. The issue of fairness, the issue of not inflicting pain on the taxpayers, and also justice is in place. A situation whereby someone that is bringing his produce to the market is being made to pay 3-4 different levies in a particular market from different jurisdictions, is not acceptable. It's against the principle of fairness and justice that taxation stands on, and also not inflicting pain on taxpayers. So these are the major reasons why double taxation or multiple taxation is a major problem that needs to be looked into, because what it does, if it is not nipped in the bud, is that it makes more people to go out of business because of less profitability. It makes more people to pay far more than what they are expected to pay, in that wise reducing their capacity to do business in those particular areas. And it also makes more people to lose interest into entering into the business environment of a country. So that is why, at the end of the day, if it is not eradicated or reduced to the barest minimum, the government also loses, in the sense that more capital inflows, more businesses will be lost to competitive environment. And that is why the government needs to look critically at the issue of multiple and double taxation, looking at the principles of taxation itself.
Okay, we know that taxation isn't the only factor that affects price of
Yeah.
agricultural produce in Nigeria. Aside taxation, what do you think government can do in ensuring that they help to cushion the effects, especially now in the country?
Yes, the issue that is on ground mainly is that because of the rise in the exchange rate, uh, positions that were made before now has been based on those high exchange rate costs, and that is why the products are increasing in the market, or the prices have not reduced despite the fact that the exchange rate has come down. Although there are some school of thought that feel that yes, for a business person in the market is arguably the best way to explain out what is happening. But we have seen situations whereby the further purchases have been made at lower exchange rates, while the people still stick to the high prices of the products in the market, just for them to make excessive profit. So that also needs to be looked into by government. But what I would suggest is that government needs to have a frontal approach on issues of persistent high prices, in the sense that yes, if the government does not want to go into price control, there are other measures of intervention. Intervention in the sense that every market in Nigeria, every major market in Nigeria have market associations and leaders. The government, through the state organisms or local government organisms, needs to engage the stakeholders in this market to be able to give specific directives to those that are selling in those markets as ways and means of reducing the cost of the products. Because what I have seen that is playing out is that excessive greed is coming into play. And if government cannot control price, because we are operating a liberal economy that is not authoritarian, I agree, but we can engage the major stakeholders in this market to be able to call their members together and ensure that the bad eggs among them are exposed, and ensure that they are also their brother's keeper, in the sense that when it has been agreed that a particular product, for example a bag of rice in this market, based on cost implication, every other thing to the landing cost to the market is a particular amount, we expect that the price band for a bag of rice in our own market should be this. Then anybody that is selling above that price band can be brought to the knowledge of the market association for deterrent or applicable punishment to be given to such an individual. So in that sense, we will indirectly regulate the sector using the market associations to bring down the prices, because all the markets in Nigeria, no matter how big or small, they have market leaders there that we can engage to ensure that this issue of continuous prices that is being pegged on the fact that the products are being bought that were bought at high prices are still the ones that are being sold now, which I do not believe is the case.
Thank you so much. Quickly, we'll go on a break. While we return, the program continues. Stay tuned.
The Agricultural Research Council of Nigeria (ARCN) coordinates the activities of research institutes and is responsible for supervision, regulation, coordination of research activities and programs of higher institutions in Nigeria. And Professor Hamidu Shaributu, since assumption as Executive Secretary of ARCN in April 2020, has solidified the transformation of agriculture in Nigeria through strategic and meaningful execution of research findings for improvement of the agricultural sector.
The Institute for Agricultural Research (IAR) is located in Samaru, Zaria in Kaduna State. It was established in 1922 as the research division of the Regional Ministry of Agriculture in the defunct Northern Nigeria region. The purpose at that time was to research into problems of agriculture and to provide solution, and to enhance productivity in agriculture in Northern Nigeria, including agricultural mechanization to reduce difficulties of operations such as planting, application of fertilizers and herbicides, drying. It also includes the development of improved crop varieties which are being planted by farmers in Northern Nigeria. The Serious Research Program of the Institute, which is charged with the mandate to research into the genetic improvement of cereal crops like maize, sorghum, among others, has developed over 60 varieties of maize and over 46 varieties of sorghum, among others, which are high-yielding, pest-resistant, and drought-tolerant. One of major breakthroughs of the Institute is the development of maize varieties that are resistant to the fall armyworm. RAR varieties of cereal crops are also resistant to striga weed, a parasitic weed which attaches itself to cereal crops and absorbs the nutrient, causing poor yield. IAR has to its credit 29 varieties of groundnut, 21 varieties of cowpea, including the very newest variety that has high resistance to insects. This can save Nigerian farmers at least 16 billion naira annually in the purchase of insecticides.
The National Cereals Research Institute was established in 1975 as an agricultural research institute. The research activities of the institute are carried out in both the headquarters at Badegi and the 10 research outstations located in parts of the country.
Rice as our mandate. Rice has become an important strategic and daily staple food crop in Nigeria. The main production ecologies for rice in Nigeria are rained lowland, rained upland, irrigated lowland, and deep water and floating and mangrove swamp. Dry bed nursery. This is an important aspect of rice production. The nursery bed should be watered regularly to keep the soil moist but not puddled. Seed bed should be 1 to 1.5 meters wide, 10 meters long, 4 to 6 centimeters above the ground, and well leveled. Benny seed, scientifically known as Semomum indium L, is commonly referred to as sesame in the country, and in the international circle is one of the oldest oilseed crops. Sesame is an erect herbaceous annual crop that grows to a height of 0.4 m to 2 m tall.
Good day. I'm Jimmy Edet. I'm a research scientist working with the NCRI Benefit program, and this is Benefit sun-loving crop. That's why we call it a photoperiodic crop. And the very variety we have here is what we call Increment 04E. That is a variety that has been developed by NCRI and released by NCRI. One of the attributes of this variety is that it has a lot of pod formation on it at maturity.
Food Technology and Value Addition Research Program is one of the key programs of the Research Outreach Department of the National Cereals Research Institute. This program has the mandate for reducing post-harvest loss through the utilization of improved technologies to combat, to reduce the losses and increase the value of those commodities. Recently, one of the key things we are able to do is to look at broken rice, a byproduct of rice processing, that we value rice by adding value to convert it into a product. One of these products is a rice plus. We call it NCRI Rice Plus. The NCRI Rice Plus is an instant smooth extruded breakfast cereal for the family. It is produced from broken rice and added with different types of legumes and vitamins and minerals. So for the family, it is an instant product you can use without cooking. Just add water and you formulate it and take it as a breakfast cereal.
ARCN
promoting agriculture.
Welcome back. Before we continue with our discussion segment, we'll take a quick view or listen to our report on taxation. Stay tuned. Agricultural taxation is a chosen instrument charged with the vital task of transferring surplus food, labor, and capital to the non agricultural sector, as well as reallocating resources within agriculture to increase the transferable surplus. Experts also believe that income taxation reduces the frequency of low income among farm households. Two articles from Europe compare the tax system of different countries. A tax increases the price the buyer pays by less than the tax. Similarly, the price the seller obtains falls, but the less than the tax. The relative effect on buyers and sellers is known as the incidence of the tax. If, as a result of taxation, the surplus of factors of production are reduced or if they are also allocated less efficiently, production costs will increase and will be passed on in higher prices. Agricultural taxation may affect resources allocation within the sector by penalizing the underutilization of inefficient use of resources, mainly land. The increase in price in most instances will result in farmers wanting to increase the quantities they bring to the market, so the relationship between price and supply is positive. The most important federal taxes for farmers are the income taxes, the self employment tax, and the estate gift tax. These principles are efficiency, convenience, certainty, and fairness. Certainty implies that taxing authorities need to clarify the reason and method of payment the tax takes. Convenience deeds with the ease of remitting taxes. Fairness means that the taxes align with the taxpayer's ability to pay based on their needs. The positive effect of tax rate cuts on the size of economy arise because lower tax rates raise after tax reward working, saving and investing. This after tax reward induce more work effort, saving and investing through substitution effects. Factors leading to rise of prices of agricultural produce may include tension of supply-demand relationship, promotion of production cost and circulation cost, speculation of refugee capital as well. The final burden of tax is known as tax incidence and the initial burden of tax is known as tax impact. Tax incidence is upon the person who actually pays it, and the tax impact is upon the person whom the tax is collected. The positive effect of tax rate cuts on the size of economy arise because lower tax rates raise the after-tax reward to working, saving and investing. This higher after-tax reward induce more work effort, saving and investing through substitution effects. Okay, yes, we've heard it, we've seen a short report on taxation. Now, we know that there is waiver
Yeah.
for taxation. We've seen I've not seen for smaller companies, but I've seen big companies talk about government talking about giving waiver to
Yes.
particular companies for them to do CSR or do certain community development
Yes.
job for the place that they are working and the rest of it. What are the factors guiding these waivers?
Actually, tax waivers are given to corporate organizations that have distinguished themselves in service to the country, that have caused the government to enjoy benefit of employment of the citizens of the country, and that have been faithful in the payment of their taxes to the government. All in all, that has been very good and responsible corporate citizens. Those are those that get to enjoy tax waivers in the essence of it.
Okay, looking at, for example, I want to use the factors now to bring up a scenario. A
Yes,
farmer
yes,
who, for example, employs me, employs like three or four other people, and pays them for as low as whatever token it is.
yes.
It's a contract. Why do we not see these waivers come for farmers,
Actually,
low income farmers?
the truth is that low income farmers, because of the essential duty they do in ensuring food security of the country, should even be the first beneficiary of tax waivers in a country like Nigeria. In the sense that when there are tax waivers for such category of farmers, it encourages them to do more. And it also makes them to be able to bring products to the market that will be cheaper enough for the people to afford and to be able to buy. When you see, because they engage directly with the grassroots, and when we are talking of the grassroots, we are talking of the people that are on the lower rung of the ladder when it comes to earnings and income. So they, whatever benefit that they get definitely affects over 70% of Nigerians, because we know what the poverty level in Nigeria is saying presently. So they are the first beneficiary, or the people that should be eligible for tax waivers because of their impact to the grassroots. And that is why, if tax waivers are going to be given, the low income farmers, subsistence farmers, farmers that are doing medium earners in farming, are supposed to be considered for various tax waivers, for them to be able to bring out their products at a cheaper rate to those that will be able to buy them in the market. So they are very eligible and should be considered for waivers, so that they can be able to be encouraged to bring their products and sell it at a lower price for the people to purchase.
So far, you mentioned some factors as regards tax waivers. What are
Yeah.
the principle to a general principle guiding taxation in Nigeria?
Now, when you look at a general principle, you separate it into so many areas. But to me, the general principle guiding taxation is to ensure that everyone that is working, that is earning an income, is eligible to be taxed, whether as a private citizen or as a corporate citizen. And when we are talking of making an income, you are expected to be above the age of adulthood, that is expected to work in different areas depending. Also, the general principle ensures that inheritance over time, put maybe through trustees or other means, are also taxable, looking at where it is coming from or accumulated over time. So when we are looking at the general principle of taxation, it shows that every adult in Nigeria, for example, that is into one form of work or business or the other, is eligible to be taxed, whether in the organized private sector or the non-organized private sector, and as well as the public sector. So for every Nigerian that is a taxpayer, also enjoy some rights. and that those rights are enshrined in the constitution. Because for every Nigerian that is a taxpayer, he has the right for protection by the government. He has the right to hear his views by the government to the government, and he has a right to be presented for election and to be elected for an office once you are a taxpayer. So when you are a taxpayer, those inalienable rights that is enshrined in the Constitution of Nigeria, you are also expected to be able to benefit from it. So every adult or every Nigerian that is earning an income and is of age of adults in Nigeria is 18 and above, so that is earning an income is expected to be a taxpayer.
Okay, your final words, wrapping up the program to the federal government on tax matters.
Now, the federal government, in as much as this present administration is looking at various ways and means to increase revenue, to be able to do capital projects and improve the lot of Nigerians, needs to also put an humanitarian face when it comes to agri sector. We also know that the government is trying to ensure that there is a food revolution, or what we call agricultural revolution, in Nigeria. If the government wants this to be successful, then we have to look at taxation in the agri sector to be able to put a human face into it and eliminate as much as possible double or multiple taxation, so as not to stifle the farmers and not to make them to operate in an unprofitable environment, and also not be able to make them bring products to the market that will be sold at very high prices. So government needs to focus on the tax administration in the agri sector to ensure that it does not hurt the people that they are trying to provide for.
Thank you for coming on the program, Sam.
Thank you for having me.
Government needs to ensure that tax matters has been taken seriously in looking at the agricultural sector, where it is mostly needed for the harmonization of these taxes. Avoidance of double taxation is needed in the sector, and so many things have been said as to how government can go about it. On this note, to wrap up the program Agric Economy for this week. Join us again, same time, same station next week. Don't forget to like, subscribe to our YouTube page, ARSN TV and radio on YouTube. And of course, we are on Natch Concert. Once you just search for ARSN TV, boom, there. Watch our programs. We're open to your comments, marketing, adverts, and the rest of it. From here, we say bye for now.